it's necessary, he's going to be carrying the game, as we've seen against RNG when Ame was 0-8 on Spectre. If you can come back from that, I think you can do anything.
Well, before we continue breaking this down, we do have Banks on the stage with a couple of the players from each team to show us in.
It's time for OG taking on LGD, and this is one to get excited about. I've got Army to the side of me here, and I guess for you guys right now, you look like the best team here, but do you feel that you're the best team here?
就是现在大家都在说我们是状态最好的队伍，然后你也这么认为吗？
感觉大家怎么想就怎么想吧，我们应该无所谓的。
So we just play our Dota and let everybody judge us.
Okay, I like that. Just play your Dota, play the best Dota you can, and let everyone else see how it goes down. But you faced OG a couple of times recently, right? Here in Arlington, in Riot as well. Which OG is better, the stand-in step or the full roster?
就是我们最近跟 OG 也对决了比较多的次数，在利雅得大师赛，还有在阿灵顿 Major。你觉得有没有 SEB 的，就是 SEB 进来替补和他们 OG 的原班人马哪一支 OG 更强呢？
感觉都很厉害吧，他。就替补也没改变他们的战术，其实都是蛮棒的队伍。
So both OGs are a very good team. Whether SEB is standing or not, their strategy is not changed a lot. They are still a very good team. We respect them a lot.
That's what it's about, having the respect from as well. But interesting, you say the strategies don't change so much. Do you think SEB might have cooked something special for this game though to try and get the win?
Sorry?
Do you think SEB would have tried to make something special strategy-wise to get the win? Do you think SEB made something special to try and get the win?
OK， 就你觉得 SEB 在这场 BO3 会整活，会搞一些新的花样吗？
应该不会吧？他的英雄反正对他们来说蛮关键的吧，应该不会搞些别的东西出来。
你再说。Hopefully not.
I like that. Hopefully not. We'll have to wait and see. Tiger's probably going to have some other answers in here. They're very respectful with their answers to you guys. You've played against them a lot though, right? It's a tough team to go up against. What makes them so tough to fight against?
I think LGD is probably the most consistent team in Dota. I respect them a lot. Before I started playing Dota, I was actually watching Wings Gaming, and at the same time, I actually cheered for them the last TI because I think they deserve it the most. No disrespect to Team Spirit, but I think LGD has been always the TI and so consistent, so it will be a treat to play against them today.
Oh, all respect all round, I like it. And throwing back to when you were a little bit younger, before you were on this stage yourself. Now, when it comes to the games you've played against them recently though, right, they have been getting the win, they've had the edge over you. How much are you able to learn from that, and how much has SEB been able to help with like the extra preparation to try and get this win here today?
I think like we watch a lot of the replays and see how they play and stuff. I think they have a really good approach on the meta, and they're just playing their own styles, and they're really confident on what they're doing. And I think SEB also has a lot of insights because he has been playing against LG for quite a long time too. So yeah, I think we're ready.
And they said they hope you don't have any special preparation or strategies for these guys coming out here. Surely you don't have to tell me what it is, but you've got something, right?
We shall see. Maybe some SEB Windranger coming in.
Let's see if you do. We'll get ourselves back to the desk and we'll get ready for this fantastic game.
Thank you so much, everybody up there. A lot of respect floating around on that stage. And a little bit preview, perhaps? Are we going to see that famous SEB Windranger coming into play? I mean, we saw it yesterday. They gave us the hand signal for the Viper. It came out.
That's true. I personally don't care about SEB at all. I really love the actual 4 new boys of OG. Like, I love their progression as a team. Seeing them get better and better and better and better. Every game, it's kind of like you don't know who the MVP will be because Uragi can come out with his massive pool of carry heroes. BZM's Batrider has been smashing teams left and right. Tiger with his black holes. You never know who's just going to make, like, a game-winning play on OG. They are all so talented. Like, Amar getting his hero pool completely, like, banned out first phase every game. They're so talented.
So you think that Seb is just here to steal some spotlight then with his IOs and Wind Rangers? So far, that's all. Whenever you talk about OG, the storyline is very simple, right? Like their captain, their true captain, is not there. So we need to talk about Seb. We need to talk about what else and what's different that he brings to the table. You need to talk about all these heroes that he's spamming constantly in pubs and bringing, because I believe that a player of such stature has a lot to say when they're drafting as well. So they are drafting around those heroes. Like Earthshaker was not picked, and then OG brings it out. Io as well, not really super contested hero, and then OG brings it out. Wind Ranger 5, that wasn't a thing.
Looking at them on camera just gives me good vibes, because this is young squad. They didn't have any prior experience coming to ESL Stockholm major, and look at them now. They're super relaxed. Like you would expect people to not to underperform on stage in front of the crowd. We're gonna have a crowd from tomorrow, but they got their experience already on the previous major, and they feel super chill.
Yeah, I think it was like Zhaoba was talking about how he wants to get to this major and stuff and play against the best teams around the world, because they want to really see where they stand, like globally, right? So in terms of like Southeast Asia, they just played against Boom. They 2-0'd them. They're feeling pretty good there. Yep. In terms of like Europe West, I think they got to play a lot of like teams at Riyadh Major Masters that aren't even at this tournament, like Team Secret. They got to play OG. They're playing them again now. They've already beat them. They are looking very dominant.
Yep.
For the majority of this tournament, for the majority of this and the last year. If you remember, even the last year, PSG.LGD was dominant completely throughout the majors. It wasn't just the TI that they got to the finals.
People had some questions looking at the DPC Tour 3 in China. They thought PSG.LGD lost it, maybe they don't have it, but when it matters, they show up, especially on the international stage. They did talk about that in some of their interviews, where they want to prove themselves on the international stage one more time, because it's been, this is their first land besides Riyadh Masters, where they get to show what they're made of, and they look they look unbeatable.
Yeah, definitely. Now, just to kind of circle back a little bit here on our original head-to-head, we talked about Amar and how he has been getting first base banned. Some of the notes that I have on him is that he has struggled a little bit with some of the meta heroes that are typically in play, like the Vipers and the Timber. They've been putting him on the Huskar too, which has not really worked out.
It's OG, right?
Yeah.
It's OG trying these different strategies that Ame said he wishes they don't. He wishes that they just play their standard stuff so that they can have a normal game of Dota. I feel like PSG.LGD right now in a fair and square draft that's 50-50 for both teams, wins versus anyone here, just by pure execution and understanding of how the meta should be played. But also the bans, like you're talking about this Huskar, it didn't come out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Teams are banning out ATF quite a bit. Like Amar is getting his heroes banned out. Even in the first series, in the group stages that they played against PSG.LGD, both games they ban out Timber and I believe Razor, or Timber and Viper. So he doesn't get to play the best heroes in his hero pool.
He will bang out a couple of different heroes, when necessary, Void Spirit from the off lane, but I think looking at the heroes for this series, 2-3 most contested heroes going to be Chen, potentially like Lone Druid, and even Marcy, because this is something that OG has been playing, trying to buff up the bear, and also PSG.LGD extremely successful how they group around the bear and also manage to go for these early towers, put pressure on the map. PSG.LGD, a team that plays around timings, one of the scariest teams to play from behind as well. I would say besides Team Spirit, because they always tend to play from behind. I don't know how they get to those Ws, but a lot of the time they're just playing from behind. This is their style. PSG.LGD, most of the time they are ahead, but if they're playing from behind, it's just different beast.
Do you have to play from behind versus Chen, or can you do something different, Chipo? Like Razor is in, Viper is in, Shaker is in.
Yeah, I definitely think you don't have to play from behind against a Chen. I do think, though, that PSG are really good at it. When they played against OG last time in game 1, they were behind. They were playing into a Bristol lineup. They were suffering, but I think LGD is so good at identifying their win conditions, or OG's win conditions, and putting a stop to it. That's what makes them so strong. They can see OG will pick like some group up, they'll try and take a Roche, right? How can we stop them from either getting Roche or like snipe their Aegis so that we can hold their momentum?
This is an interesting opening, like a little bit different from them, going instantly for that most likely nothing to say Pangolier. A Pangolier that through the seasons did not look extremely great. Like we even questioned whenever PSG.LGD would pick up the Pango mid, it would look a little bit iffy, but as the seasons progressed, nothing to say, just started demolishing on the hero.
There's multiple Lamar heroes left in the pool. There's that Razor that's always going to look juicy for the team.
I just have a feeling that PSG.LGD, they're really letting all the good stuff go through. Like they're letting the Shaker go through, they're letting the Razor go through. For me, this meta, this whole tournament is Chen, Shaker, plus any of these static offlaners, your Razors, Vipers, DPs, right? If it's not the Shaker, then it's the Tusk. But it's always the Chen plus one of these two.
Isn't it cool to see like tournament meta evolving though? Because OG were a team that you would ban their Razor Timber every single game, or Viper, because you know they're just going to first pick it, and now we have Chen coming in and being higher priority than that. They're not even going to go for these zeros.
Okay,
Bloodseeker,
so
yeah.
they know this Pango most likely, as Lizard said, is going to be core, so that means Bloodseeker as a core will be potentially countering it with the Rupture. It makes Pango's game very, very difficult. And also, this can be played from the offlane. This is one of a Mars hero.
And to be honest, like Bloodseeker overall has been banned out in quite a few games. Why has he been banned out? Because these tankier style heroes are in the meta. With the shard, he can actually chew right through them. You see Bloodseeker just destroy a hero such as Bristleback on that position 1 as well. So it makes the drafting a little bit easier for OG in that way.
So something a little interesting that I've noticed here is OG has banned out the Ancient Apparition, which is a very specific hero that PSG.LGD likes to play. And who was it I was talking to? Was it like Gunnar or something? Saying that this meta is very strong on playmaking supports. And we're noticing that on the early bans on the side of OG with the Warlock gun, with their Wyvern gun. So just putting it to the panel here is what sort of support system is like besides Snapfire that LGD grabbed? Can they be looking for?
I like what OG is doing. They're banning out every Wise hero. He has like one of the lowest hero pools so far in the tournament. He's played 8 different heroes, and so far they banned out 4 and they took 1. So that's 5 already gone.
Look, it's a different approach, right? When you don't know what to ban against the team, you just ban all the supports out, all the position 5s. This is, I feel like the first time in I don't know how long that I've seen 4 position 5s banned out.
It's gonna be 5. Probably
it's gonna be 5.
Right.
Probably gonna be Enchantress because you do have a Chen Enchantress matchup, and Y has been really amazing on Enchantress, making the rotations on a mid lane, stabilizing the lanes, and also being able to scale when necessary. I think he's one of the best Enchantress players to break the smokes and not die so far in the tournament.
Well, you can only have enough ban slots because that still leaves, what, Marcy in the pool?
Yeah, both Y and Xingqiu are able to play that Marcy pretty effectively. It's quite aggressive, but I don't think you need to deal with this Chen any more than you already have on LGD's side. Snap and Pango are both quite good, and they're also really, really good at contesting Roche, which is like, they're already kind of dealing with that future problem.
And on the side of OG, do you think that Marcy would be decent? Like with the Chen, we've seen her do quite all right. You send the creeps in, you rebound off of them. It's very simple to make those early game plays like that.
Every single time I see Zhao 8 on camera, I think about that joke from Reddit, like, why is Zhao not hungry? Because Zhao 8. And it's just too funny.
Well, what did he eat, though?
He might eat OG for this one, because this man, Director 8, he comes prepared for every single series.
You know, I actually heard that before Sonics played LGD in group stage, Jack Chen rubbed Xingqiu's belly.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That happened?
I heard that, yeah. So maybe that's the...
That's the answer?
Yeah.
Possible.
That could be it.
Lucky belly.
Maybe that's what No-Tail has been doing. Anyways, Windranger and Razor banned out by PSG.LGD.
Respecting that Seb Windranger, and also when you pick up that shard with Rupture, it's also like free damage on Rupture, which is pure, so pretty good.
I just wonder now, like you're probably putting this Pango on core. You don't have to reveal your offlaner. We're just gonna look for that other support hero. I like Bloodseeker's kind of put an interesting idea into drafting for me recently. Watching like a lot of these teams have been playing around 4-staffs really heavily. Like I don't know if anyone has noticed this, but
there's a ton of 4-staffs.
There's so much emphasis on save, and Rupture disrupts that idea so heavily. Like I want to see like how an LGD kind of deal with that, where you can't just use 4-staffs to save your heroes. This Alk, potentially an idea. You can regen through the damage. It's not that great though. I don't even know what role they want to play on specifically.
Like they're keeping things very close right now on PSG.LGD. I've mentioned that they love the Pango, nothing to say, but I'm sure that they could switch it up to something like a position 4 because they're playing into a Bloodseeker, right? It would be decent to dodge that. But OG, yeah, there you go. That's the IO. They get the IO Storm combination. That's something that they have played in the group stages as well.
Storm does check some of the boxes that they've been lacking. It's some kind of a lockdown, because IO Chen, it's very defensive, it's very snowbally, but very difficult to gank with. So they, I mean, if they are looking for an offlaner for Amar, which, I mean, Bloodseeker can still be an offlaner, they could shift things around and put the range carry, because PSG.LGD just responded with Alchemist. It's a lot of minus armor. Every single hero on PSG.LGD does have minus armor.
Are you worried that on the side of OG, the damage isn't truly there? Like, you have the Storm to deal the damage post-laning stage, right? Everyone else, it kind of feels that they won't be able to take down targets that quickly, at least.
Yeah. Could be lacking damage, so from a safe lane, they need some kind of a carry that's going to be able to take these earlier fights. I wouldn't mind seeing something... never mind that. After seeing this Slaughter, it's just not happening.
Yeah. When you see the Slaughter, what's on your mind? Troll? We go full Beast Coast here?
It always is, but unless you're a Beast Coast, it doesn't seem as good.
Yeah, looking at OG, they do have really good pickoff. If they're able as well to like invade this jungle, that would be really important when you're playing versus Alk. Right? Usually you have setup in some kind of like support or like a puck or anything, and then you bring the IO and they relocate in. This Storm Spirit in the past has paired really well with heroes like Vision, like Monkey King, who can find someone, Boundless Strike, you zip in, there's a reload coming in, everyone's suddenly there, and that's like how you take your fight. It's kind of awkward because your setup in this situation is like a Rupture, but you want to save that for Pango.
If they need a hero to group up with, I think Luna is a really good option, because it gives them like mixed damage, someone that likes to play around with the team, and it would check some of the boxes that OG is missing. And OG banning out that Lone Druid, who would benefit quite a lot from all that minus armor. We did mention it, that the hero is definitely going to be contested in this series, considering like when I last checked, the hero was picked 10 times, but banned out like 35 times. So a lot of teams are banning it out, but not a lot of teams want to play it.
Yeah, pretty much any team that has picked it at least once gets it banned against them every single game afterwards. So no one wants to play against the Lone Druid, really. But one thing that's kind of obvious on the side of OG is their lack of stuns. And they do go with the Troll versus Slardar. I mean, I threw that idea out there towards Lacoste, you know, I kind of threw it in front of him.
you don't.
And I saw that he dodged it like super hard. He's like, no, I don't want...
If you're ever listening to me being on panel or cast the games, this is the hero that always gets mentioned and always loses the game.
Exactly.
I lost the faith in Troll, but let's see how it's going to do here. I mean, in terms of laning stage, it's good. We've seen the build for exact same matchup in the Beast Coast, where he was playing into Pango, getting that Battle Fury BKB into Aghanim Scepter to be able to dispel himself. I assume this is going to be the same item build. You want to get rid of Corrosive Haze, and you also want to get rid of Disarm.
Yeah. And for PSG.LGD, do we still think, like, so far OG, they banned out, the last two bans are carries. Your Lone Druid, your TA. So they're expecting this Alchemist actually to not be on that safe lane. Do we agree with that, or... Because they're pretty versatile with this draft, right? Like, they can go in any direction.
It, right? I think like a Faceless Void could be really good for them when you have the synergy with the Snapfire ult, you have the amp from Slardar, and it's a way to just kind of control this like Storm. You can like Chrono or relocate. Troll's going to want to ult and just become unkillable, and you can stall that out.
So if you're saying that, you're thinking Snap plus Alchemist supports?
I'm thinking, yeah,
Because Alchemist has been very popular on that position 5, in, or perhaps, yeah, Jug is the last pick, and the carry has been picked, yeah.
It's a lot of melee heroes. That's 4 melee into Storm Troll plus a Bloodseeker. There is a lot, like, OG might be lacking some damage. This is a bit of a slow lineup when you look at the Troll and Bloodseeker from the offlane. Damage needs to come from BZM Storm and Seb's Io. They need to be playing together, going for these pickoffs. And Chen so far for me has been the hero of the tournament. I'm going to throw it out there. I like what OG's got.
Do you agree, Sheep?
I like a lot that Troll is very hard to kill with the Io and Chen. Like together, their burst heal is going to make it so like this Troll's most likely going to get his ult off and become very hard to kill. I'm not sure if LGD have the damage to like nuke him before that. Like OG, one of the signature themes I've seen in their drafts this tournament has been making their heroes hard enough to kill that everyone can connect in time to like counter initiate.
Everyone going for OG. I feel like I must go for PSG.LGD.
Join us.
But I'll join them. I actually like the Storm here the most. I don't like the fact that OG has very limited stuns on their side, like almost none. But I feel that Storm could do quite a bit in a game such as this one.
Whew. Well, there you hear it. The panel unanimously voting for OG here. Now let's see if our casters agree with this assessment. We have Sunsfan, Jenkins, and Quinn.
Thank you very much. Sunsfan here with Jenkins, and the one person to actually beat LGD at this entire tournament.
That's me.
So, that's the old Quinn Dota. How's it going, buddy?
It's going good. I was the only team to beat them, and that feels good.
Great.
You beat OG as well.
I also beat OG, but not the only one.
He's very good to actually be on here.
Yes, this is the perfect panelist indeed, or the caster, I should say.
Yeah, it's a cast.
Interesting strategy from OG, basically banning supports for the first 2 phases. I don't think I've ever seen that, I feel like. That was very strange. And it feels like LGD, I mean, it feels like they can play whatever they want anyway. They can flex basically any hero.
Yeah.
I don't even know how you like pick ban against this team in general.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure I understand the Alchemist 5, to be totally honest. I've seen some people do it here and there, but it didn't strike me as something that was like particularly amazing with LGD's heroes. They do have this like massive oomph, like super strong physical damage with like acid and corrosive and stuff. So there's some like overlapping identity there, but I am not sure I really understand the pick, to be honest.
Oh, look, they've got the train set up here.
Yeah, they're ready to go. And again, LGD have lost 1 singular game the entire tournament, and this is now the upper bracket 2nd round as OG. I mean, I think the thing that boggles my mind the most is everybody went for OG on the panel, and there's a Troll Warlord on their team. I know Lacoste has a lot of history of talk. I mean, I love this hero as well, but I've also horribly lost faith in it because it just feels like it always loses.
Yeah, everybody hates on this hero, to be honest. I mean, we lost it. When we lost to OG, they had Troll Warlord. So they've at least had some success on it. They have won a singular game.
Okay,
so that's something in Troll's book. Yeah, I mean, this is a decent Troll game. Radiant doesn't have much like of this spammy, pokey stuff that Troll doesn't like to play against. They have a lot of like sort of unga-bunga melee heroes that are going to be like real close range that Troll can beat on some. So there's some merit for it. He has buffers as well, which Troll likes.
I'll go ahead and blame Thompson, too, for everybody hating Troll. He had that one very famous clip of showing that you can use the Monkey King, what's it called, Mischief, to disjoint the Troll ult. And I do think with Troll, like, sure, if you could pick any draft against it, then yeah, you can draft a lot of things that are good at kiting it and good at like getting away from the Troll ult. But it was last pick, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, pretty like late pick Troll. Pretty good
I mean,
game.
For a long time, these agility melee heroes that have no like real mobility have had issues getting kited. Like I mean, Sven's a strength hero, but Ursa was the first thing that came to mind. But the thing that makes it worse for Troll is that when you hit his ult, you have no control of your hero.
That's true.
You can take your hands off your keyboard.
Yes, yeah. It is very strange indeed. I think Lacoste mentioned the fact that, I don't know if he's actually going to go for Ags, but theoretically the Dispels could help him out a lot in this game, but we'll see. Not the most common pickup as OG. Looking to contest this rune to start things out, but nothing to say. Holding his ground. And it looks like it's going to be just a 2-2 split for the bounties to start this game.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really curious to see how this game pans out as like the 10-minute mark gets past, we get more into the mid game, because LGD has like this super massive like pop one hero ability. Dire has like a lot of sustain and a lot of trying to like keep this one troll alive and a lot of functioning around this one storm doing well. So if LGD like holds off this like immediate pressure, I can see there being a really cool timing at some point in the mid game where it gets really difficult for any of Dire's heroes to run in or they just get like popped.
And in this mid lane, BZM playing the Storm. Nothing to say on the Pango. You play both these heroes.
I do.
We were just talking off panel about, I keep saying panel, this off cast. So you're going to see the Blade Fury in the bot lane, but Amar should be fine, actually just standing his ground, tanking it for now. But the nerfs to Storm, talk to us about how severe they may or may not be.
Yeah, I mean, they're a pretty big deal. People just straight up don't buy nulls anymore. They buy Soul Ring instead now because the nulls have just been beaten mercilessly into the ground. But with Io, it's sort of one of the only heroes that can fix his issues because you can port him to base, so he just gets this full refill. Io can, camp him on the runes, give him more resources. So it sort of like brings him like a little bit back to his former glory.
Do you think Storm is the best backline assassin in Dota, like fundamentally? Can you think of a better one?
I think in good Spectre games, Spectre probably trumps the hero.
Yeah.
Because you can you just jump everyone at once.
Yeah, but like eventually, right? I feel like Storm is like all points of the game, like including early game, you can jump like an Io or an Oracle.
Yeah, when the hero gets his items, there can be some pretty stupid points in the game.
As Uraga getting hooked up by Seb, who is playing the Io this time around, so no Wind Ranger for him. Or Earthshaker, I feel like those are the two heroes he's played most of the tournament. But in the mid lane, Pango versus Storm, how does that matchup typically go for the Pango? Because this is a hero that can have a bit of a rough laning stage sometimes, depending on who he's going up against.
Yeah, I think this matchup tends to be pretty drawish. I think both heroes will farm generally about the same amount as well. If Pango buys a stick, he'll buy like maybe an extra set of tangos, but generally you'll sort of just split farm. It's sort of, the rune situation is sort of interesting in this game because neither hero can really kill each other that much, so there may be some like weird rune trading situations where it's either a click fast or it's a 50-50, and there may be some rune that like sort of spins things out of control because neither team can actually kill the other mid hero.
You know a lot about those runes.
Yeah, I was going to say 50-50 for everybody other than you.
Yeah, that is true.
Get those runes.
Shh, me and Gaben have a thing.
So do we. We got something Gaben too.
Yeah, that's a different thing entirely, though. Is we can see the concoction here from Innocence, aka Wyatt. It's off onto Amar, but not a whole lot of damage follow-up from Ame this time around. So yeah, the double melee lane for PSG.LGD, not the most traditional Juggernaut. A lot of times relying on slows or stuns, and it's really just concoction from Y. And you can see that his farm has suffered as a result of this. Only 8-3 to start the game out. On the other side, 17-5 for the Troll. So pretty night and day situation in both respective safe lanes.
Yeah, I mean, this safe lane for LGD, if it continues to trend downwards, can get really out of hand because the Pango will be very tied up mid. Like, this matchup is not one where you can rotate that easily. It's tends to be pretty regen intensive. Pango will either be low on bottle charges or low on resources. So if bottom lane starts getting out of hand and Dire has this like continual pressure, I'm not sure if there's going to be that much relief able to come from LGD or that much pressure elsewhere.
I think it helps to have this last pick troll versus Slardar lane. Obviously, that's a pretty hard counter, and when your offlaner's Bloodseeker, you mentioned that the mid lane is very regen based. Like, Amar's just fast move speed for this entire game, for the entire laning phase, unless a ton of regen is being spammed.
Yep, crush here from Faith Beyond, but Ragi gonna force out most of PSG.LGD for the time being as he continues to get very good farm. You can see the mid lane basically a wash, like you said, Quinn, so not a huge surprise in the end. And no opportunity to gank either because of the mobility that will eventually come for the Storm, but Pango inherently. And here comes the 50-50 battle, and the BZM gets the water rune. Of course, would have been a bigger deal if it was the 6-minute rune, but either way, Jin Q guarding this one, so nothing to say, still finds one anyway.
Yeah, he'll go walk on up there and chill, but bottom lane is pretty rough right now. I'm also not sure if this lane gets much better, as Alchemist's strength is like a support in lane, tends to be going for these kills, and I don't know if you're killing this 8 armor Bloodseeker with boots, or if, I don't know, this Chen has some creeps, maybe at some point he gets this some ice ogre, and that will like spell disaster for bottom lane. I don't see this lane getting that much better over time, and there's definitely a possibility that there's like this mounting pressure that is pretty hard for LGD to deal with.
Chen Bloodseeker seems kind of cool, actually. You got the healing amplification with the healing that comes from Thirst. Like, he's just full HP constantly.
And the position 5 Alchemist, what do you guys think of this hero as a 5? Like, in terms of itemization, is this, like, obviously you're just there to get stuns off in the landing stage, but when you get some items, is this actually an Ags giver at any point, or is it going to be too much of a struggle? Like, if you see it as a 4, you assume that's kind of the role, but...
Yeah, I feel like you're probably buying some medallion, crest, maybe 4-staff type of deal, just like whatever the game needs. I don't know if you're rich enough to buy Ags, and Ags isn't even particularly good on any of Radiant's heroes. It's like good on Juggernaut later, but
how dare you? Pango's great.
Sort of.
Great Ags. Just have a moment of silence for that Ags.
I thought you were going to continue with the Ags point.
Nothing to say. He's going to pop. No, going to fake his ult out as BZM, obviously with the zip available. Wouldn't have any trouble getting away here.
A little bit of a bait. He uses mana.
I feel like last pick, or having the Alchemist 5 is more of just a flex thing. It's just like, okay, well, we have some random stunning support. You don't really get to do the Ag stuff. People always theory craft it, but then it never plays out.
Yeah.
Neither does the offlane Alchemist either. You just go carry build in the offlane. Like, everybody goes Radiance anyway.
That's kind of sad.
Yeah.
I agree.
The Ags thing, it seems kind of dead.
I don't think we've seen an Ags even on Alchemist himself after supplying the rest of it. So many theory crafting situations when that first patch came out.
The rune has been controlled.
Yeah.
I mean, you could see Zincu earlier trying to move down bottom and get some kill to happen, but it's like all of Dire's heroes are always full HP, iOS TP ready. It's very difficult for them to actually kill heroes right now. I mean, you can see them trying mid, trying for some stun fog, but it's like very annoying. I mean, you can see it's 0-0 at 630, right? It's not that common.
Yeah, trying to defend this ward that's attempting to be dewarded by Nothing to Say, but BZM forced out, and right click goes to Nothing to Say.
It's a weird little ward battle right there. Just delaying a little bit.
It's all this min-maxing. Zamar, he's very close to level 6, and when that Rupture comes online, obviously you can just Blade Fury TP, but top lane, we're going to see the bash come through with the cookie from Jin Q, and Yuragi already very low, but Seb is hooked up. Concoction coming from the roaming Alchemist, and Faith Beyond looking to finish this off with another crush. Yuragi still getting regen, but this looks to be first blood going the way of PSG.LGD, and making Alchemist look pretty good, actually.
What a beast.
He's getting a courier, too.
He's just waddling around, just getting these stuns off, stunning himself half the time, but hey, worked out.
It's all about the other half.
True.
I mean, I think this is something that LGD is maybe better at any other team at, is like just because they're losing some lane or some heroes behind or they're countered, like whatever, it doesn't really matter to them. They'll still read the situation and see that, hey, they're both level 5, Troll's not actually that strong right now, he doesn't have his phase boots on him. Like, they read this very specific situation and they get this kill, which means like a lot. Where some other team might just generalize the hate slaughter against Troll, we don't gank here.
Well, Ame trying to contest this little stack here. He's going to get a decent amount of farm from it. Obviously could get ruptured now, but there's not going to be that much backup, looks like. As top lane, Seb takes a tumble via Y again, but the zip in from BZM is going to get stunned immediately thanks to the Rolling Thunder. But Jin Q, one more right click will do it, and they find it as Yuragi takes him out. But with that Corrosive Haze, he has to be very careful, especially with the Io still dead. Concoction is there. He's going to pop the ult a little bit prematurely, loses control of his hero, so it's going to continue to chase. Nothing to Say. We'll see if they try to turn this around as another Corrosive Haze comes. Gets the Whirling Axes off. Now Nothing to Say has to be very careful, and the Concoction not going to come out in time to save his life. But will go off anyway, but a nice turnaround here from OG as they're going to find 2 and lose none. Unless you count Seb dying before that fight even started.
Yeah, Nothing to Say YOLO'd in for the kill there, right as he pressed ult. I think even if he got the swash off before Yuragi purged the Corrosive, he probably wouldn't have died, so a slight misplay there. And in games like this where the margins are razor thin and you really need to like squeeze every bit you can out of these early skirmishes because your kill potential is so limited, you don't have this like natural kicking people out of lanes pressure. Like little mistakes like that where you give away some kills can mean, you know, a big deal, because you can see Ame's been kicked out of lane, he's jungling, you know, he's 900 net worth down on the Bloodseeker, and you know, he's full HP, he's supposed to be able to come back to lane and take the creeps under tower, but he's not in the spot that you normally see Ame or want to see Ame in.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Yeah, I mean, top 3 net worths in the game are all on OG's side. So Ame obviously trying to play the catch-up game. Only has phase boots right now in the Wraith Band. Maelstrom is just getting started.
Amar on the flip side is building a Maelstrom, and he's maxing Blood Rage now too. He went 3 points in Thirst for the lane, but now he's going max Blood Rage, so he's going carry build. I'm curious, what do you think about Amar's like carry style offlane when he does this? Like, he really commits to it with this sort of build.
Yeah, I mean, I think in this specific case, it's not so bad. I don't know if Bloodseeker is like I don't know, I'm hardly an expert on the hero as a offlaner, but I don't know. I think you can argue about like how objectively good a lot of what Amar does in terms of like the super ricing carry style offlane. But I think what OG does really well is like enabling their players. So even though you can like argue back and forth about how objectively good it is, like they make it look good and they pick the heroes and the supports. Like they almost have 2-5s sometimes to enable the fact that they have like 3 carries. And I think that's like what's really impressive about Amar, and that he has a playstyle and he has a thing he likes to do, and he found a way to make that work as opposed to like trying to change himself, which I think is what OG is like especially good at if you look historically.
That makes sense. Now, can he make sense of the Manta Viper that he goes every now and then?
That would be 3 Vipers flying around, in my opinion.
That's the... I mean,
Sometimes
he wins with
snakes.
it. So. I don't know. It's very strange indeed. As 7MR now going to be pressuring this tier 1 tower with this first, I guess the second siege. And nothing to say in Jin-Q, doing the same in the top lane. As OG have a 2K lead already, and this is just basically right past the laning stage. And that's what, I mean, usually I look at Alchemist. Oh, it's not really an Alchemist game. That's why Cinderin did lie. Concoction going up, and it won't save his life. So an easy pickoff for OG, and the tier 1 tower will be taken out as well.
BZM got the Fairy's Trinket, by the way, so his strength is now at 150% for the rest of this game. Isn't that right, Quinn?
Yes, he's a very lucky man.
Yeah.
He also had to deal with Gaben, but I can't talk about that.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, it happens.
I mean, I think you see this 2K lead and you think OG's in a very commanding position. But I think a lot of other teams beside LGD would have bled more kills, or they'd be down more gold, or they wouldn't have managed their HP so properly. Because if you look, they're still farming on LGD. It doesn't feel like they're out of the game. Like, they're still getting items, they're still chilling, they're still taking the XP in the lanes. There's not this, like, absolute crumpling of the map you would see oftentimes. So even though they're down 2K gold, even 3K now at this point, it still feels like they're okay. They still have this mid-tower fight ready if OG tries to come to the mid-tower. They're still contesting runes, still getting items. I think despite the gold lead, they're still in a fine state.
What do you think the next move is for LGD then to come back? Is it like they're waiting for a specific item or just camp a ward opportunity sort of thing?
Well, Jin-Q getting gone up, but the TP comes in from nothing to say. Looks like Jin-Q will die anyway. The Rupture applied, though, at the same time. Nothing to say with that ult. Trying to focus on BZM for the time being. I don't think they're going to be able to take him out as the nice relocate comes out. And now Yuragi doing some damage to Faith Beyond, but only the Snapfire kill to start this overall fight. But you can see another zip in as he gets full on mana now for BZM, trying to get up onto Faith Beyond. Blade Fury is there, but the Blood Right just clipping him, so that should lead to another kill going the way of OG. Nice hand of God keeping his team alive, but now nothing to say, left without any mana or any way to get out. And that's another death in favor of OG. Even the troll ult being expended just to survive through the Jin-Q ult. And this is going to be another death for him if they end up getting another slow, which they will. And Ame, the last remaining member of PSG.LGD, all he can do is walk away as another tier 1 goes the way of OG.
Yeah, that is what you did not want to happen. I think they got a little bit sloppy there. Xingqiu got caught like in the middle of the wave, and when you're in a tight position like this, every little bit of damage you lack means a really big deal. So whenever he dies like that, suddenly OG, they have the wherewithal to realize, yo, they're down like one of their damage heroes, so you go, 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 go. They bring 5 heroes mid, they win this fight, and now the map can potentially start getting pretty bad for LGD.
Yeah, the relocate allowing BZM to refill his mana and then just TP back into the fight. Definitely a big turning point for this little engagement. But and like you said, that definitely hurt PSG as they're down 6K now.
This is why I love Storm as a hero, even though like the patch feels bad for him. Just like as a the hero itself is bad, but like the heroes that you're playing against in Dota, the way Dota's played right now, like being able to chase like that after having this lead and snowball and actually turn it into something. Sometimes I feel like drafts do lack that, where people just like literally walk away from you after like losing one hero. And it's like, okay, we just sacked the tower, but it's not as disastrous as that, right? But with Storm, especially with Io, it feels like if one hero dies, every other hero can get chased.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of value to it. I think it pulls their other heroes together quite well as well. Whenever you have a Bloodseeker and a Chen as your first 2 heroes, you need something very dynamic and sort of explosive to enable these heroes to actually kill things. Other you can end up in this weird spot where you're like, yeah, we're kind of tanky and like are farmed, but we can't actually kill a hero. And the Storm sort of fixes that for them or helps them.
Yeah.
And Yuragi looks like he's going for a Manta Saw to be able to dispel the Corrosive Haze along with the Lucky Shot, I would assume. But I would say not the most common pickup on Troll. Typically you want a little bit of status resist. We'll see how that works out for him. Onto the high ground now, OG into the enemy triangle. Smoked up, getting some wards. Getting a valuable D ward there as well. And actually getting a pretty decent stack for BZM.
Yeah, and they just took their own as well, so they've taken like 2k gold worth of Ancients in the last minute and a half.
And they got all these rally creeps ready to go, and into the Roche pit, Mr. Troll Warlord is. So Yuragi looking to take advantage of picking this troll. This is one of the few benefits that the outside public, at least from the negative aspect that Troll seems to have. They'll be able to take this Roche uncontested.
LGD's not even interested. They're just farming in 5 different spots on the rest of their heroes.
Yeah, I think likely that is the correct decision for them. I don't think contesting this fight would be... It's very unlikely they win it, and if they lose the fight, they probably just lose the game on the spot because the rest of the map would crumple too much. So I think them like sneaking down into this bottom lane and being super annoying, pushing this in, avoiding them. This is something that LGD is also extremely good at, is just because you're up 5k gold and you're stronger than them, they know that, and they're not going to give you some easy fight. You're going to have to make them, you're going to have to kill them, you're going to have to get them out of these stupid side lanes. And they're going to be really annoying in making you do that. You're not going to get it for free.
Ame, at basically 16 minutes, finishes his Maelstrom. He is so far behind. This is not something that we're used to seeing at all. I mean, if one player gets shut down from this tournament and past tournaments, it feels like the rest of the cores step up to a degree that doesn't really matter anymore, right? What was your secret, Quinn, in that game that you guys won? You have good memories that you have framed on your wall?
Yes, it's framed in our practice room. We took a screenshot and we printed it out at the hotel printer.
Nice.
It's just papered all over our wall. It looks like a serial killer room.
That's good.
Yeah, Jenkins really likes serial killers. There's nothing to say. Is ruptured. He's just going to die inside his own role. Can't really do too much about that. And now Jin Q looks to be next. So BZM continuing his killing spree. Ame gets off the Omni Slash, but he's not able to find the kill onto Taiga. Has his Blade Fury still to try to get away, and you can see why. Getting off that concoction, try to slow this down, but BZM able to dodge that quite easily, and that's a double kill for him as PSG.LGD are just crumbling.
Yeah, they got them out the side lanes. They got the rats out, and when you get the rats out, now suddenly you're pinned in, and you can see Seb drawing the line to if he can, start to if he can close them in, close the box, stop. Yeah. Don't let them into these side lanes again when they spawn. They might even start getting some lane wards. You can see the one by the base. They want to know when LGD is leaving the base because they are unfightable right now, and they want to keep chain killing them everywhere.
Okay, so once again, I beg the question: what does LGD do? Like, what's the call in their comms for how to come back from this? Is it kill one hero on a side lane and then try to chain that into other kills?
At this point, it's kind of rough. You have to like read what OG is doing and try and find an opportunity where they're isolated and not together, where you can do something. Because if they're together, there's no way you can just run.
Even on a ward, they probably can't.
Yeah,
fight, right?
You just don't have the damage.
Yeah.
So they have to be really annoying and keep ratting and hope OG at some point messes up or like goes for some kill they can't, and they're ready there to clutch.
Yeah, they're praying for a mistake. Okay.
Radiant's middle tower.
Yep. Y's going to run right into Amar, the Blood Rage himself. Blood Rage does connect, but the follow-up is now coming from BZM as another easy pick-off for OG. And nothing to say. Looks like he's going to go to the south and TP out. And of course, Pango into Bloodseeker, something we didn't really mention, is absolutely miserable. And you have to go Linken's, which feels bad because it just puts you so far behind in terms of just having the regular items that you want to go for on the hero.
He is also playing into an Orchid now as well, which I really like this from BZM. He had queued up the Sanjin Kaya, but he switched to just going Kaya into Orchid, and I think it plays into what Quinn was saying, where like LGD, what they want to do is they would just want to be rats and play the side lanes and try to force OG to split up. So BZM is just doubling down on essentially squashing the rats.
He is rat squashers united out here, just
right.
Hunting them down. I think what Fabian is doing right now is actually pretty cool. He hasn't like grouped up. He's not looking for some fight because he knows OG just clumped together. He's staying in the enemy agents, taking their creeps. In the whole time while Y was dying down in the bottom lane, Ame was pushing top out.
Okay. Oh, I think that was the finished BKB, or maybe not.
No, just that. He went for a Manta actually on Yuragi first time.
I already mentioned that. Thanks for listening, Jenkins.
Okay, don't listen to you.
Yep.
Let's start doing that.
Nice long conversation actually by myself.
Because I mean, despite how unfightable OG is and how much they're dominating the map,
oh boy,
they actually haven't been gaining gold recently.
Yeah, concoction on yourself. That's when you truly feel pathetic. There's nothing you can do. And onto the high ground they go. Still 40 seconds on the Aegis, so BZM can really expend all that mana if he wants to. And you can see Troll Warlord, Yuragi, just beating down these towers like they're nothing. And PSG.LGD, are they just going to give this up? I mean, they can't go for more than one, so this is probably okay-ish, or the best you can ask for, to just give this up and live. But BZM and company want to continue the fight. Blood Right connects, and the last right click is there as Jin Q takes a tumble. Nothing to say, gets his ult off, but there's absolutely no follow-up. And OG, now that the Aegis is expiring in 6 seconds, will likely just back off here and go for some tier 2s.
Yeah, they might be trying to stall for this Mjolnir on Juggernaut. He's getting pretty close, which maybe gives them that extra little bit of damage they need. You know, maybe the Omni Slash gets off more hits and they actually get to kill some hero and de-push the base, but they're in pretty dire straits. Realistically, just looking for OG to make some overextension they can capitalize on.
This is a shellacking, boy.
This is a
shellacking.
I mean, if you had told me it was going to be a shellacking, like, well, I guess LGD did it again, right?
Yeah, I was going to say, Quinn, would you have expected this, having bested both of these teams and obviously understanding both of them?
Yes.
You would have expected this?
No.
Okay, I see.
Maybe after draft I could see it, because I don't understand the Alchemist 5. I mean, I just tend to trust the director is the thing, you know?
Yeah, well, the initiation is here, and look at that damage on Faith Beyond. He absolutely melts, and Ame finally comes and gets the Omni Slash, but a lot of the illusions and the creeps are just tanking it. The Blade Fury to follow, but I don't believe he has a shard, so it's not really doing that much damage. Buyback from Faith Beyond, nothing to say, able to get off a nice ult. Several stuns, but again, not a whole lot of follow-up, as Y will just be stunning an illusion. And now OG gonna try to re-aggress, knowing that they don't have many things off cooldown now. And the focus is on Ame, and another kill for OG as they're looking to take this game, and they do. GG is called, and this was truly a shellacking in favor of OG.
Quinn, what sort of shellacking tier would you say that you think this was?
Now remind me the tiers.
Well, that's a lot to go through.
That's a lot. Okay. Yeah, definitely Gaben level.
We can, okay, it's a Gaben level.
Gaben
you know the
level.
Gaben tiers?
Uh-huh.
We start with just Gaben. Then we have Gaben's mustache. Then we have Gaben's top hat.